Oh wow, I guess it's final battle time already. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do into have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Another fun fact. Here we are for chapter 215 of Sentimental Disca, which is known as Declaration of War. Okay. Okay, I mean, I saw people talk about it probably being Yoru, but I don't know. For some reason, in my heart of hearts, I thought it would be like the Underworld D, because like all the doors remind me of the time they were sent to the Underworld. But yeah, that's just Yoru. Clearly, though, she's still definitely being affected by her feelings surrounding Denji slash Chainsaw Man, because well, she's not immediately weaponizing Chainsaw Man and then slaughtering everything. But she's here. She's here. I wonder why she came through this like means though. What? Why did she do that? I mean, like, maybe this is just her flexing her strength, but like, she probably wasn't that far away. I wonder why she came to this like weird teleportation with. But overall, have it on me, keep it on me, and let's see what's going down in chapter 215, Declaration of War. All right, this looks very nasty. I forget, like, but then again, it is reminiscent of, I believe like her first introduction also had her like at least like, well, she was at least strewn in corpses, so maybe this is the results of like, wars intensifying all over the planet. But now I'm extra worried, right? Because like, sure, Yoru got a massive buff. I don't think Denji slash Pochita slash Chainsaw Man did though. Are they cooked? like if this is a declaration of war, like, hopefully little D or Fammy can do something to help out, because right now it may be over. I don't think Chainsaw Man's gonna pass it. Okay, let's see. Hopefully Yoru gets like mental nerfed by her love slash respect slash weird feelings for Pochita. I'm hoping. Let's see. Oh yeah. So this is literally a direct callback to her introduction part 1, where she very specifically, in fact, it's when she mentions Los Bombas Nuclear, which is why I was so shocked that she didn't remember what their name was until that point. But memories fading. We know the Horseman can somewhat remember erased concepts by Chainsaw Man, but probably faded over time. But with it being the case, this does remind me of her original panel all the way back at the start of part 2, where she was like, I'll make Chainsaw Man puke up La Bombas Nuclear and like something else. And well, he didn't have to puke it up, it was just remade, and now she's here again, this time looking a lot more content than she did before. And this is interesting, right? Asa, you're not even slightly afraid of it? Like, at least from my understanding, Asa takes control back whenever she's scared. Like, is it literally just Yoru got too strong? Did that, like, built-in failsafe mechanism, like, is just failing now? Like, I have no idea how Asa isn't genuinely terrified of this, but I guess it'd be like that. Wouldn't it be like that? Especially when it'd be like that. Let's see. And it's so crazy to think. She's wearing falling. Like, that's why. She's literally wearing gravity. Huh. That's wild. Let's see. This is quite the grand welcome. I mean, I guess. Two of the other, like, we're really not seeing another version of Control, or I guess we can't, right? Like, it's way too late in the narrative. Especially, it looks like, this is legit. I guess maybe we were wrong. Like, and by we, I mean, there was a poll I made a few reviews back that was like, hey, do you think Yoru's actually going to be the final boss? Or do you think she's going to be like a stepping stone back to Lil D? And like, the previous chapters only had me believing that more, with the whole idea that Denji was being like pulled between multiple sides, like siding with Yoru versus not siding with Yoru versus listening to Lil D, whether or not Lil D can really resist their nature as a D, wanting to activate their abilities and wipe out all of humanity. So like, I guess that's kind of just, I mean, like, this could be like a super duper elaborate Hezi, like the Hezi of Doom, essentially. Not just ankle shattering, leg shattering, femur shattering, waist shattering, rib cage. Like, we still could get schmicks to Doom, Oblivion, and Despair by Fujimoto Sensei. But I don't know, man. It looks like Yoru's final boss. But dare I say, it feels so quick. I think it's because Denji didn't really get time to get amped, right? Like, fine, we'll give Yoru her super amp, right? Like, we'll give her La Bombas Nuclear reinvented, and we'll let that boost her to the moon and back. But like, Denji, like, I don't think this is a battle they can win now. Or, well, maybe with Lil D and Fammy here, maybe different. But even then, Fammy wasn't shown to be that good of a combatant. She was a fake summon victim, which was a base Denji victim. And we just haven't seen Lil D use abilities outside of summoning, which, if falling wasn't enough to slow down amped Yoru, And presumably her amp has probably only settled in more or just gotten more intense, considering, you know, fear of La Bomba Nuclear. I genuinely do wonder, like, is there any other D that Lil D could summon that would, like, actually work against Yoru now? Is she legit just the strongest in the verse right now? I feel so weird, but it may legit be the case. Let's see. This is quite the grand welcome. Death D, Famine D, and Chainsaw Man. Do you all need something from me? If you have something to say, then say it. Okay, so was her appearance just random then? Like, at least the way it was coordinated last year, I saw a lot of people assuming, like the Underworld D was somehow linked to Bareem, and, like, them getting consumed or erased. Which is debated. Like, I seen debate in the comment section whether or not Bareem was technically erased because of his hybrid status, and, like, whether or not he perished or not. I think the whole implication is that he was supposed to be erased, because Pochita literally ate him and made sure he didn't delete him. And by delete him, I mean him, before he swallowed him, right? So, we know the hybrid immortality works just fine if you're still in feasible pieces after you perish, and you'll just, like, eventually come back. But for something like Erasure, I mean, I guess someone could reinvent flamethrowers, and maybe that would bring back Bareem, but that possibly would just bring back the flamethrower D. Bareem himself may actually be erased, but once again, hot debate on that. I see it in my own comment section, and actually look all too around from beyond my own comment section, but whether or not Bareem is actually permanently gone or not, kind of debated, but ultimately, I think it doesn't really matter. I don't see Bareem playing anymore, just like Yoshida. I don't really see either of those two characters playing much more of a narrative role right now, considering we're seemingly in. Like, I'm not even gonna say at the point of, no, we're just in final battle territory. Let's see. Do you all need something from me? If you have something to say, then say it. Lil D, what you talking about? Agree to my condition, and you can turn us into weapons. But, like, I mean, Lil D, what stops her from doing that to you right now? Like, just with their raw stuff, like, what stops her from just being like, especially Family. Like, I understand, well, then again, Family was probably very heavily feared. But the thing is, Family just seems so fodder and so weak-willed. I could actually see them being, like, just immediately weaponified. But, like, even you, Lil D, I'm not sure if you have the, not like, it feels weird saying death itself doesn't have the raw level of how to compete with war, but in this case it doesn't really feel like it. But we just haven't seen much from Lil D in the grand scheme of things. Everything we've seen from her is her, like, suppressing herself or faking famine powers. Meanwhile, Family herself doesn't really comp, so I don't know, this is gonna be interesting. Huh? This Family's like, I did not sign up for this. I literally just got incarnated. What do you mean I'm gonna be turned into a weapon? You already ate me. Or boomed and then ate. Let's see. I love how Pochita's like, okay. Roswell's end up like, man, y'all spitting straight words. Like, what is this not? But then again, you know, he's not necessarily known for his wordplay. Though it is interesting, right? I wonder how he feels. Notably, because we know it was Control. Because I don't think Lil D showed up, actually. I think that's the big thing. Lil D never actually showed up to fight Pochita. So technically, this is like a third run back, because I believe both Fami and Control were there in the underworld alongside Yoru, who had all her separate D army to come and gank Chainsaw Man to oblivion. But right now, it seemingly is just Yoru who's coming to run the ones. But of course, that was seemingly a much stronger Chainsaw Man. But, and you know what that does make you wonder? I think he may have consumed La Bomba Nuclear during the battle, but if he consumed it before, that would also explain why Yoru was not able to compete with him one-on-one. It really depends on when that was. Let's see. Huh? Let's see. Go home. Okay, so essentially, yeah, you can make us into weapons. We're just not gonna be really useful to you up here. Let's see. Go home to the underworld and spend the rest of your life there. That's the condition. Sounds cool. Sounds neat. Kind of smooth, kind of buttery. I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, immediately. You really think I'd agree to that? That's the thing, right? Ultimately, Yoru, I mean, like, maybe you could argue she wants to, like, terrorize some D's. That sounds so bad. But, like, you could argue that. But ultimately, it feels like Yoru's, like, she wants smoke with humanity. Like, it's in her, unironically, here we go again, it's in her nature as a D to want smoke with humanity. So, like, going to the underworld is possible for her. She'd probably be happy to have, like, a Chainsaw Man weapon, like, Jigger or another Well, actually, no, she didn't grow another arm. That's the one thing about Asa's. I was conflating Asa / Yoru with somebody else in their abilities. Like, oh, technically, she did grow another arm, so maybe she could like triple wield like a Fami weapon, a death weapon, and a chainsaw man weapon. But like, probably not. I don't think. But with it being the case, I don't exactly blame Yoru, not Asa, Yoru for being like, really? Is that all you got? Like you really think I agree to that? Like what? Like for what reason? Like you know what I'm here for. Essentially, you're being like, you know what I'm about. I don't care about the end of the world. Like it's not relevant to me. But interesting that Lil D was willing to offer it up. Honestly, I feel like they did offer it up. If we're still going with they did, Lil D may be the final antagonist somehow at this point. I don't know, turning into an eldritch entity by activating their ability. I don't know. But with it being the case, to see the bluff just fail, because like, or not necessarily the bluff, but like the offer to be completely turned down, it makes sense in character for both. It makes sense why Lil D would offer that choice. Let's see. If I use my power, you'll die instantly. Yeah, but then she'll be in the other world anyway. Oh, okay, but destroying her vessel may accidentally like banish her fully back to the underworld. That may make sense. All right. Interesting though. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense that Lil D has the ability to, you know, just because. I mean, that's kind of their whole thing. Let's see. But you know what? I like to switch back and forth where yours like, oh, who do you think you are? Do you know who I am? I'm P. I'm top of the line. Look at my gains. And then Lil D's like, I will literally boom you right now. And it was like, wait on. Hold on. Don't be rash. So I really like that. But you can't control its strength, right? Won't those friends you went to karaoke with die too? Ah, okay. So, like, if we're to believe the prophecies, then... Okay, this just got spicy. This just got spicy. With the prophecy in mind, the Nostradamus prophecy that mentioned that Lil D would activate their abilities and then wipe out all of humanity, is that because of Yoru? Notably, I thought Yoru was, like, a separate stepping stone or hindrance or something else to the prophecy. But is Yoru now the cause of it? I'm getting, like, once again, is it self-fulfilling prophecy type? I don't know. I really can't tell. And notably, I don't think anyone knows either. Like, notably, I don't think Lil D knows. I don't think Yoru knows. I think they're just a gamble. But clearly, it seems like that's not going to happen right now, at least based on this response. But you can control its strength, right? Won't those friends you went to karaoke with perish too? Yeah, and that seems to just completely slaughter any momentum that Lil D had going. Alright, unfortunate. But you know what? That is an interesting enough display of power even still, right? Despite how powerful and, like, pretty much, I'm not going to say, like, unstoppable, but, like, darn near unstoppable, as powerful and dangerous and diabolical as Yoru has become, she still has a limit, right? If Lil D were to just say, forget everything right now, she could win right now. She's just not going to because of the whole idea of the prophecy and her inability to control her own powers. I mean, she would wipe out everybody, which she very explicitly does not want to do because she cares for humanity. Which, once again, sort of addresses the fear that Fumiko had, where it was just being used. No, seemingly not. Like, at least in this case, no using is happening here. At least not yet. Once again, I do wonder how much the prophecy is intentional, how much is it self-fulfilling, how much does Lil D want to really do. Well, let's see. I have your friends. Your power's unfair. Use it, and my comrades will slaughter your friends. Proof? POL? Even when with POLs. Proof of life? Where? Where they at? Huh? You got them? Where they at? Let me know, Yoru. Let me know. Let's see. But, yeah. Interesting. So, Lil D still does supersede. And I guess it makes sense, right? Because even with as powerful Yoru's become, death has still got to be number one, right? Like, I mean, I know there are many humans out there who don't fear death. And, like, most of the time, I'd say I don't either. But it's a fear that exists in the back of my mind, just as a living creature. Like, every living thing fears not living anymore, because it's kind of what we are all designed to do. Live until we can't no more. So, I'm assuming it makes sense that even with Yoru's Giga Amp, at the end of the day, Lil D isn't losing because she's necessarily weaker. Lil D is just losing because she's so strong that her powers can't function properly. At least she doesn't have proper control over them. Let's see. Use it, and my comrades will slaughter your friends. So I'm assuming that, because I saw someone comment on that in the previous review, that ultimately Yoru may have been running around gathering up a whole bunch of Ds just to serve her. So maybe those are the ones that have gone and captured her. And maybe the Ds are immune to her ability. Maybe Lil D's ability would only affect humans. Thusly, it would technically affect Yoru because she's in a human vessel right now. I'm guessing because otherwise I'm not sure why they wouldn't perish immediately too. But I guess, you know, it's on or off, whatever, Lil D will boom them regardless. We'll see. Use it, and my comrades will slaughter your friends. Yep, and that's the thing. Lil D's immediately in stalemate. Nothing they can do. Poor family, though. Once again, I'll admit, unless she ends up doing something, I will stick. And I think I said this in a prior review, but I'll say it again. Fami definitely feels like an afterthought. Like Fujimoto had to fulfill the idea of the Four Horsemen, so he made Fami. And like obviously, the Lil D reveal is still a really cool thing. But like now that we have Lil D as Lil D, we have Lil D as Death. Now seeing Fami and how buns they are, just in general. Like notably, they don't seem to have any power here, right? Like despite Famine also probably being very widely feared, one of the Four Horsemen and all. Like they don't even say anything outside like, oh, wait, you're gonna be weaponized? Because we know they're currently under Lil D's control because of her ability. So like, the fact that they just don't do anything and it seems like Yoru doesn't even address them, that's kind of unfortunate and does make me feel like if there's any plot line that definitely could have used more time, or just a character that could have used more time, it would be Family. Because she's kind of just here. Which is fine, but if anything, I'd rather you introduce another control D. Let Fami just exist somewhere else, not here. But then again, you wouldn't get the Fami reveal, or the reveal that Lil D is actually Lil D and not Fami. So like Fami does need to show up for that specific twist. But like I feel like that could have been found out in another way, maybe, because just right now, like, what is the point of the character? What are they here to do other than, I guess, fill space? They didn't end up fighting Yoru or Chainsaw Man. It was just Falling who did that, and then Yoru got her Giga Amp, and then Falling apparently, or not Falling, Fami just ended up helping Lil D carry Denji away, which clearly didn't matter too much. Like, remember, the chapter where they just quote-unquote, saved Denji from Yoru was what, like 4 chapters ago? If that, like less, like maybe a little over a month or 2 months ago? So, I don't know, man. Fami, definitely a weirdly utilized character. We still technically do have time, but if we truly are in Final Battle territory, they are gonna be one of the characters that'll go down as like, that kind of feels like a waste. Unlike a character like Barima or like Yoshida, where they did a whole lot still, in spite of their limited screen time, and will feel important relative to their narrative role and general narrative importance, Fami's just gonna feel like an afterthought. An afterthought and a hype beast, I guess. But even then, what would, like, since we had no context for her strength outside of she should be Horseman level, with how much the Horseman levels vary, like, that doesn't even really mean much. Let's see. Death. Famine. I'm not interested in you two. I'm here to see Chainsaw Man. Yeah, but see, once again, see, interact with, talk with, like, obviously, her feelings for Pochita / Chainsaw Man / all that. And, once again, maybe Asa's feelings for Denji. There's a reason that Chainsaw Man's even, like, being communicated with, right? Because she, in a weird way, I've seen all the fan art before. There's one specific image of fan art that comes to my mind. It's Yoru marrying Pochita, or like being in a wedding dress, and then like Pochita's dressed up in a ripped up suit, and like he's holding her. Like ultimately, I do think Yoru, in a weird twisted way, is attracted to the power that Chainsaw Man displayed, and very specifically, not just Asa, and it's notably it's a mix of things, right? I think it isn't just Yoru, respecting the strength of Chainsaw Man, but I also think she herself has developed some feelings for Denji, like actual legitimate human feelings on top of Asa's own feelings. So it's like 3 layers. It's like the respect and love of power that makes her respect Pochita, Chainsaw Man Black. It's the actual genuine human emotions she's developed that allow her to love Denji, considering she did go out of her way to slurp on that man and grab his starter, let's say. And then 3, it's Asa's own base emotions. Because presumably, even with Asa not interfering, because I'm guessing, once again, it may legit just be a case of, Yoru got too strong, so thusly Asa's interference abilities don't work anymore. That could be the case. It's entirely likely that her feelings are still at least somewhat affecting Yoru. So it's like a triple thing that are preventing her from immediately, and weaponizing Pochita. And also, Pochita could just be that strong, but at the same time, it's really hard to tell. Like I said, he hasn't gotten any amps yet. So it feels like it'd almost be kind of weird for him to be strong enough to just say no to being weaponized. Let's see. Interesting, though. She is serious. She's locked in. And Pochita isn't attacking. That's actually the most interesting thing. Pochita is still kind of just standing here, almost as if he's waiting to be attacked. Or waiting to attack. Let's see. Chainsaw Man. Oh, well, there it is. There's the chapter title. Declaration of War. Let's wage war. Interesting. But this goes back to the idea I just covered. It seems like if it's not like a direct love, there is a respect that she has for him, which is admittedly interesting. Yoru is definitely, if I had to say like interesting characters to come out of the Chainsaw Man duology, she's probably definitely in my top 5, if not like. I feel like since Asa, unironically, despite also definitely having character development, I feel like Yoru's character development is even more interesting. So like she'd probably be my number 3 right behind like Pochita and both that like hockey and power. So I mean, but overall in terms of like internal like character development, I think ultimately Yoru definitely is maybe my number 3. If not number 2. Like she's just that strong of a character at this point where I see her having this genuine respect and like this willingness to communicate with what she once viewed as an enemy to simply manipulate because of all the complicated stuff she's gone through over the course of part 2. And that's actually amazing to see. And once again, it seems even Pochita's developed a weird sense of humanity considering he's not tweaking yet. Let's see. Let's wage war. We're tied 1-1. Are you? I get notably the original battle. I guess technically Yoru lost, even though they won. Right, like Pochita was forced to incarnate into the real world as Pochita, or like Chainsaw Man wasn't able to maintain like his super form. He got knocked into the real world as Pochita, the little dog who met Denji and then fused with him. So I guess technically that would count as a. Now I'm actually kind of confused. Would that count as the win, or does that count? I guess that has to count as the loss, right? And then the win would have been their rematch when Pochita Man Black first popped out, and then she got the new arm. She got Tinka's Pagoda arms, and then she kind of like violated him, and then aging showed up. So like ultimately, neither of their battles really should count, because technically Pochita did lose the first one, and then he did lose the second one because it ended up inconclusive. But then again, you could argue Pochita won the second one, and Yoru once again, one of the critiques that I do kind of agree for the character. All of her power-ups to allow her to get out of situations are very convenient. Like, perfectly timed. That, oh, yep, now she's going to be able to perfectly summon them from, like, halfway across the planet, even though her summoning range hasn't been shown to be that big before. And then, obviously, she gets the perfect time power-up for La Bombe Nuclear. Like, obviously, I get it, protagonist, but still, her power-ups are so convenient that ultimately, you could definitely argue Pochita, if anything, is up 2-1, or 2-0, like 2-0, considering he won the first time, at least chunked her drastically, and needed to be ganked by literally everyone, right? Unless it's going to be confirmed that all the Ds that Yoru's collecting are also here with her right now to challenge Pochita. She ganked him with them, and then it was Control, whatever the Underworld incarnation of Control was, and the Underworld incarnation of Fami. Both of them were also there. The only Horseman who was confirmed to not be at that big old battle with Pochita, alongside all the other Ds, is Death itself. That, like, she wasn't there. But that technically was a gank, where Yoru in a way lost, just because she lost a massive chunk of herself and need to incarnate in the real world. And then the second one, she took it all until she off-guarded Broski. And even then, after a point, Pochita didn't even like he kind of stopped interacting, if I'm remembering properly. Which is funny, it hasn't been that long. But like, if I'm remembering properly, he gets blitzed by the summoning. He then, I think, reacts to a shot from the arms. And then he's already chunked from the summoning of the arms, and then he just leaves and asks for blood. Like he doesn't even directly engage. And then aging shows up. So like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Saying they're tied 1-1, is that really accurate? Am I reading that right? And by reading that right, I am asking y'all, like, is that proper? Is that correct? Or is technically Pochita up, or is technically Yoru up? I don't know. Let's see. This battle will prove which of us is stronger once and for all. Okay, so yeah, this is like a big bad final battle thing. So Chainsaw Man, what? We're in chapter 215. It may end chapter 225, right? We may have less than 10 chapters of Chainsaw Man left. Gotcha, Kuda. You may be added back to the channel. So let's see. If you win, this world is yours. If I win, I'll claim both it and you. Interesting. But obviously in that case, Yoru's win condition is ironically enough very similar to Makima's, that I think about it, right? To beat Chainsaw Man to a point of, like, immobility. There we go, there's the word. Beat Chainsaw Man to the point of immobility and then weaponize it. Because if I remember properly, the whole point, or the whole goal of Makima in part 1 was to, subjugate Chainsaw Man so she could actually use her powers on him to control him, to then erase the concepts that she deemed necessary, including her own sisters at that point. And obviously that would have given her control over the world and Chainsaw Man. So this is truly, in an ironic way, a run back of part 1, but seemingly on a much smaller, and if it truly is just a proper 1v1 between these two, a much more personal scale than what Makima initially had against Pochita at the end of part 1, considering, well, Yoru has direct feelings towards Pochita that aren't like hero worship, even though that's part of it. And also, she's not ganking. She's actually running wands. We'll see. If I win, I'll claim both it and you. And then presumably use Pochita to erase Little D, right? Like, I'm guessing what will probably happen is that if Yoru were to win, right? Because I don't think she will. I don't think we're gonna see like a world of endless war. But if she were to win, I assume her first point of action would be to immediately consume her sisters, right? Especially Lil D. Like maybe she'll leave family around because family once again just kind of seems like fodder. She hasn't really shown anything that makes you believe otherwise. But Lil D specifically is a threat capable of completely negating everything that Yoru's worked for up to this point. And getting rid of death is the only way she truly can achieve a world of eternal war. So that would probably be her next first move. So we'll see. I'll claim the both of you. Do you accept? Yeah, he's so like, he's so chill about it. Like he's so calm right now. It's actually very weird. Actually, well, no, we've seen Pochita be like passive before, but notably he's like, this is gonna sound really dumb, but hear me out. He's usually like actively passive, as in he's like yawning or like he's moving, right? Like he's doing things. I still remember that panel part 1. I forget if it's right before, if it's before or after Maki says, "Okay, this seems unwinnable," but like we literally see Pochita just, and then he like scratches his neck and stuff like that, and it's stretching out. Right now, he's kind of just been like mewing, like he hasn't even opened his mouth since he consumed Bareem. So like, I don't know. Let's see. Do you accept? That's fine. I don't need a response. Okay, interesting. It's a binding vow, I guess. Let's see. Okay. Ah, okay, so yeah. You know what? I'll give Fanny credit. She has fighting spirit if she is complete fodder. Meanwhile, Lil D just doesn't seem to care. But I guess in a way, currently, Lil D's hands are tied, right? They can't really do anything. And Fammy just is fodder and under Lil D's control. So if anything, Lil D may be preventing Fammy from doing anything on top of that. And they're immediately going to battle. They blitz up to him despair though. Like these two didn't even flinch. Let's see. Oh! Okay. That's even more interesting. Yoru didn't swing a weapon, didn't do anything. Went in for a punch. And but actually, I think this will be the first time of us seeing, like, I don't think the battle's over that quickly. She's smiling, right? Like, I'm guessing she's able to now. But I think this is the first time we've seen Yoru take, like, massive regeneration-worthy damage, right? Because, like, even in the battle with Fammy, what happened when she got, like, pierced in multiple places, and then she immediately healed, got up, and went Pokemon, or not Fammy, against Falling, right? She got pierced in multiple places, but then immediately got up and went crazy anyway. But in this case, it looks like she got 3-piece, seemingly? Or 4-piece, right? Head gone, torso split, lower legs chopped off. She got 4-piece by each one of the individual arms. So, either she's holding back, or Pochita's still relative somehow. Huh? Like, I don't know. At least the way Yoru was amped up, I was expecting more. Okay. But she did manage to. She did do not. Well, it's hard to tell. I'm not sure if any of these shots went through, but boom. So she got off 3 shots, and 3 shots is enough, seemingly, to not, if not like splinter Pochita, it is enough to make him feel something and like bleed a bit. But hey, I mean, obviously, maybe it's like a whole idea that her. Oop. What was that? Okay, we'll get to that in a sec. But maybe this damage means literally nothing to her, and obviously, Pochita's probably going to slurp up her own blood in order to maintain himself, I'm guessing. But Pochita being at all relative was not on my bingo card, man. I guess he just got amped too. Maybe like his true nature got an indirect amp from Pochita. And by true nature, I mean like a lot of people theorize that Chainsaw Man isn't actually the Chainsaw D, more so the Erasure D, right? Because that's never actually been mentioned. So maybe the idea of La Bamba Nuclear, the idea of Erasure, if it's not like an active fear like war is, it is now a subconscious fear that got like further amped. Maybe that's why Pochita's able to compete at all. Or else Pochita, gang, have you just been holding out on us? Like, dog, you were not, you. I didn't think they'd be moving this way against like someone who could easily one-tap Falling, but here we go. All right, but let's keep it moving. This was a banger, okay, banger. Let's see. Interesting. So I saw that we're back with Kid. Is that Asa? Hey, Pochita! Ow! Hey, Asa. Get scared, please. Let's see. Huh? But interesting. So I guess. Wow. All right. So admittedly, I'm gonna find myself agreeing a little bit, well, not even a little bit, a lot of it, with a comment from a last review, and that ultimately a commenter was underwhelmed by Pochita's appearance here, mainly because it felt like Yoshida was obviously important in Denji because he was like the last remaining thread of his previous life, but at least the dynamic between Yoshida and Denji didn't feel strong enough to warrant like a Pochita tier reaction, especially even with Barim showing up, right? Like it just didn't feel like it. And yeah, it looks like this like forced Denji back into kid mode, which obviously happens when Pochita pops out. But so that does feel a little bit weird. I was hoping you'd at least be like somewhat cognizant, like notably, and who knows how much of this is real versus symbolism, but even when Pochita last popped out against aging, Denji was like fully adult, or not adult. Well, yeah, a fully adult mode. He was still himself inside of Pochita. So it actually is kind of weird to see him reverted back to a kid here. And here's Asa in this, once again, what I think is a playing that is mostly metaphor, but it's hard to tell. Hey, what are you doing? Yep, and here's Asa. I have to go over there. Huh? How come? How come? Because I've been chasing that for so long. What does that mean? So I'm guessing this is once again, it's hard to tell. Alright, and that's the end of the time. Alright, it's hard to tell how much of this is like metaphor versus how much of this is like real. Like is this actually, I'm assuming it's hard to tell what she's referring to here. There are two things that immediately come to mind, right? Either the entrance to the alleyway, or like the outside of the alleyway, right? Like escaping, because I'm assuming this alleyway ultimately represents like Denji's past, right? And the guilt, and presumably the guilt that both of them feel. Because I remember, at least this could be like comparable to the hallway that Asa was running through with her mother that she ultimately lost her in, or it could literally be the light, like nobody the light, because they're both currently shrouded in shadow. And we see Asa, oh, but then again, no, Asa's literally in the light. She falls right into it. So I'm guessing it is like the outside of the alleyway. I'm guessing this is like a metaphor for them like transcending their guilt, maybe accepting it and moving on from it, leaving what cages them. That's gonna be interesting because with the quote unquote final battle starting between Yoru and Chainsaw Man, Yoru and Pochita, I guess it really is up to these two to stop them. But that's the thing. Like, how are they going to stop them at this point? Like, I'm guessing it's up to Asa mainly. She's gonna have to stop Yoru, but I'm not even sure how that's gonna work. We're now with just like, it feels like the pace jacked up to 1 billion. All right. A W chapter. I'm intrigued. Notably, I'm very intrigued with Yoru's appearance. The battle just started. Like, we're just leaping straight into it. And seeing what an interesting fate we're set up for. I'll admit, I'm very, very intrigued. Fujimoto's got me interested, and I wonder how much we're actually going to see of this battle. Obviously, Pochita at the end of part 1 was like the highlight for many people at the end of part 1, action-wise. And obviously, a lot of people, myself included, are definitely interested to see Yoru's either D-Army or just new abilities actually being able to be displayed with someone who's comp, unlike Falling, who just clearly wasn't comp. So I'm intrigued to see this battle, but I'm also intrigued to see what's going to go on here. So, alright, you got me pretty well. I'm invested and I'm intrigued. So if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave interested in the unknown. That sounds so... That's literally just a sentence. But interested in the unknown in the comment section down below. And the thank you so much for watching. Remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure the notifications will not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, we would have a Patreon below where you can support me for as little as $1 a month. The things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also, now become a member of the channel for as little as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So, let's include the live reactions or the series I have to review. I do variations of all my videos, and if you become a $12 Patreon or $12 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, we have a link to my co-fans down below. You drop 5 minutes for a short video, turn out to be a long video, or any beats at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off. I'd like to thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Redwolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zara, Brandon Payne, J2MA, Guillaume, Buddha Ura, Alex Kenny, Enzo, Swift Strike, Autumn Mornings Lazo, Super Flame Zero, Yuki Ally, Azo 2404, Striker Man, Azo 8, Damon Brown, Cree Panem, DBT, Planet Chrome, Grim, and Black Sage. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our line art tier patrons, Victor Raji, Dread Zoen, A+A, Kevin Encarnacion, Sean, and Midnight Lord 21. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our ink tier member, Austin Wimberly, A. Uchiha. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our digital art tier members, J Warrior and AZ Void. Then I'd like to give a final thank you to our colored art tier patrons, Joaquin Munoz and Joaquin Munoz.